In a quiet coastal town, where the ocean's roar meets the warmth of driftwood walls, one man walks back into a world he built with his own hands. To the outside, he looks like a stranger, worn jacket, trucker hat, and tired eyes. But hidden beneath the disguise is John Cena, the true owner of Harmony Café. What was once a place of laughter and loyalty now carries whispers of betrayal, greed, and cruelty. Staff mock the weak, kindness is twisted into shame, and the soul of the cafe hangs by a thread. Tonight, the truth will be tested, and one man's silent watch will decide whether Harmony stands or falls forever. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because tomorrow will bring you an even more powerful story just for you. John Cena muttered under his breath, pushing open the glass door of Harmony Café. The cheerful chime of the bell was drowned out by the noisy lunch crowd. Dressed in a faded denim jacket and a trucker cap, his unshaven face made him unrecognizable to the people inside. To them, he was just another passerby. But in truth, this was his place, a seaside shack he had turned into a chain 15 years earlier. Recently, though, whispers of falling profits and rising staff turnover had reached his ears. Cena's gut told him something was wrong behind the cafe's cozy charm. He slid onto a counter stool. Around him, sunlight spilled across driftwood tables loaded with chowder bowls, while locals swapped tales with tourists. Everything looked perfect on the surface. Yet Cena, after years in the spotlight, knew when something was out of tune. His gaze fixed on the cash register. Two employees, Jasper with his sly grin and Nora with her swinging ponytail, whispered together. Their snickers weren't about customers. They were aimed at Eli, the elderly dishwasher working silently at the sink. "Guy's ancient," Jasper sneered. "Taking up space," Nora muttered. Cena's jaw clenched. He didn't know how deep this rot went, but it was clear his cafe's soul was at stake. Then, amid the bustle, a toddler spilled juice. Before anyone reacted, Eli was there, mop in hand, gently reassuring the embarrassed mother. Later, when a tourist shattered a mug, Eli calmly swept the shards, smiling and saying, "Accidents happen." His quiet grace stood in stark contrast to Jasper's cruel whisper, "Clumsy fool." Cena sipped his coffee, eyes narrowing. Soon after, he caught Jasper slipping $1 from the tip jar and Nora shortchanging a customer, pocketing the difference. Their scheme was subtle, but Cena noticed everything. When Leia, the manager, walked in with her clipboard, complaining about missing inventory, Jasper and Nora exchanged calm, practiced looks. Cena's instincts screamed. The real threat wasn't old Eli, it was standing right behind the counter. He stayed longer, coffee growing cold, his decision made. If there was a plot to frame Eli, John Cena would uncover it and stop it. The very next day, John Cena returned to Harmony Café. He chose a quiet booth near the counter, pulling his cap low and opening a newspaper like any other customer. But his sharp eyes weren't on the pages, they were fixed on the people. Eli was already at his sink, his hands moving slower than before. Now and then he rubbed his wrist, pain flickering across his face before he forced it away. Still, he kept working, steady, careful, invisible to most. But not to Cena. At the register, Jasper and Nora leaned close, their whispers sharp as broken glass. Cena caught fragments of their conversation. "Another drawer short yesterday," Nora muttered. "Not our problem," Jasper shrugged. "Bet the old man's slipping." Their eyes drifted toward Eli. Cena's grip on the newspaper tightened. They're setting him up, he thought. Just then, a young mother, Sarah, stepped up to the counter with her 2 kids. Her cheeks flushed as she whispered, "I'm short on cash today." Nora's smile turned cold. "Again," she snapped, motioning Jasper over. The children clung to their mother, frightened. Before the scene grew uglier, Eli appeared. Quietly, he slipped crumpled bills from his own pocket and placed them on the counter. "Don't worry," he said gently. Sarah's shoulders sagged in relief as she hurried out. Jasper's smirk returned. "That's the third time this week," he sneered. Nora rolled her eyes. "Eli's gonna go broke." Cena's jaw clenched. Eli's kindness, the very heart of this cafe, was being twisted into a weapon against him. Later, Cena overheard Jasper's hushed plan. "We'll short the drawer again tomorrow. Make it look like Eli's stealing. Leia won't check too hard." "He's done." Cena's blood ran cold. It wasn't just petty theft anymore. It was a trap. A trap meant to destroy the one man holding the cafe together. The cafe was busy again, the clatter of dishes and low hum of voices filling the air. John Cena sat quietly in his booth, coffee untouched, watching every move near the register. His instincts told him the storm was close. Mia, a young waitress, hurried past with a heavy tray. Her hands shook, and in a moment of panic, the tray slipped, glasses shattered across the floor, water spreading everywhere. Mia froze, her face pale with embarrassment. Before anyone could scold her, Eli appeared with a mop and steady hands. "Easy, Mia," he said calmly, kneeling despite the creak of his knees. A shard of glass cut his finger, but he waved away her concern with a smile. "Just a scratch." Jasper walked by, muttering loud enough for others to hear, "Clumsy old fool." Eli didn't flinch, but Cena's fists clenched under the table. Later, Clara, one of the cafe's regulars, sat beside Cena. She spoke softly, her eyes full of sympathy. "That man's been here for years. Heart of gold, but life's been cruel. Lost his wife to cancer, spent everything on her care. Now he lives in that broken trailer out back." Cena's chest tightened. Loyalty like Eli's deserved respect, not cruelty. At the register, Nora rang up a fisherman's order. He handed her a 20 for a $12 bill, but she slipped an extra dollar into her pocket while handing back the wrong change. Smooth, practiced, and shameless. Jasper caught her eye, giving a small nod. A silent pact. Cena's jaw tightened. Eli's kindness was being ignored, while Jasper and Nora's thefts continued unchecked. By evening, Eli's shoulders slumped as he kept scrubbing dishes, pain etched into every movement. Yet no one noticed except Cena. Watching the deceit spread like rot through his cafe, Cena made a silent vow. This ends soon. The next morning, gray fog curled along the Oregon coast as John Cena slipped back into Harmony Café. His worn jacket and cap made him blend with the regulars, but inside, his mind burned with resolve. Eli was already at his post, scrubbing dishes with tired hands. His movements were slower now, shoulders sagging under years of strain. Every wince on his face cut deeper into Cena's chest. Clara, wrapped in her lavender sweater, stopped by Cena's table. Her voice carried worry. "Developers are buying the park. In 60 days, those trailers will be gone. Eli has nowhere to go." Cena's heart sank. 60 days, and the man who gave everything will lose even the little he has. Inside, the lunch rush swelled. Jasper rang up a couple's order, his voice loud and deliberate. "We're short again." He shot a glance at Eli, loud enough for nearby customers to turn their heads. Nora quickly chimed in. "Happens every time he's around." Eli looked up, startled, confusion clouding his face before he quietly returned to his sink. Cena's pulse quickened. The trap was being laid in plain sight now. Jasper and Nora weren't just stealing, they were setting Eli up to take the fall. Moments later, a teenage boy named Max stepped to the counter. His hoodie was frayed, his cheeks red as he fumbled with his card. "Declined." "I thought it would work," he mumbled, ashamed. Nora crossed her arms. "No money, no food." Before the silence grew heavier, Eli stepped forward. He reached into his pocket and pressed a few wrinkled bills onto the counter. "I got you, son," he said softly. Max muttered a shaky, "Thank you," before rushing out. Nora scoffed loudly. "There he goes again. Charity fund strikes once more." Jasper smirked. "Yeah, and it's costing us." Cena gritted his teeth. They're twisting his kindness into a crime. But what Jasper and Nora didn't know was that Cena was already one step ahead. Tiny cameras now hid above the register, recording every move. The truth was about to surface, and soon, there'd be no place for thieves to hide. The cafe buzzed with its usual noise, but John Cena's attention was locked on Jasper and Nora. His phone buzzed quietly in his pocket. The hidden cameras were live, every second being recorded. At the sink, Eli kept working, his hands red from hot water, his back bent but unbroken. No one else noticed the strain in his movements, but Cena did. Every small wince made him angrier at the lies forming around this man. Leia, the manager, emerged from her office, looking worn out. "Another shortage," she sighed, holding her clipboard. Her eyes drifted toward Eli. "Were you near the register today?" Eli looked up, startled. "Just helping folks who were short," he said softly. His voice held no defense, only honesty. But Leia's frown deepened, her doubts silently growing. Jasper and Nora exchanged sly looks. Their plan was working. Then, the cafe erupted with tension. A truck driver slammed his fist on the table. "This coffee's cold." Mia froze, panicking. Before the anger could spread, Eli stepped forward. "Let me fix that, sir." He hurried to the machine, reheating the drink and returning with a free pastry. The trucker's scowl softened. Jasper muttered under his breath, "Too good for this dump." Nora smirked in agreement. Cena's jaw tightened. Eli's kindness was saving the cafe every day, yet those two were determined to turn it into his downfall. Later, when the cafe slowed, Jasper leaned close to Nora, whispering, "Tomorrow we go big. $40 missing. That'll finish him." Nora's grin was cruel. "Perfect. He's done." Cena leaned back in his booth, his heart pounding. Not this time. The cameras were rolling, the evidence building. The moment of truth was coming, and when it would hit like a storm. The next day broke stormy, waves crashing against the Oregon coast as if warning of the clash to come. John Cena pulled his cap low, his jacket frayed at the edges, and stepped once more into Harmony Café. Inside, the warmth felt false, a mask stretched over betrayal. Jasper and Nora stood tall behind the register, their smirks betraying confidence. They believed today would be Eli's end. Eli, though, was already at his post, moving slower than ever. His hands trembled as he scrubbed dishes, but still he pressed on. His quiet dedication cut through the lies swirling around him. The cafe filled with regulars. Cena's phone buzzed again. The hidden cameras were live, capturing every moment. He sipped his coffee, waiting, every nerve ready. Then came the trigger. Anna, a struggling mother Cena had asked to help with his plan, entered holding her daughter's hand. They ordered soup and a sandwich, then approached the counter. Anna's voice cracked. "My card isn't working, please." Nora's voice was sharp. "We can't give food away." Jasper leaned closer, eager. But before the scene could collapse, Eli stepped forward. "I'll cover it," he said, pulling worn bills from his pocket. His eyes were gentle, his voice steady. "We all need help sometimes." That was the moment Jasper had been waiting for. He slammed the drawer shut. "Short again. $20 missing." His voice carried, loud enough for the whole cafe to hear. Nora added quickly, "I saw Eli lingering by the register earlier." Gasps rippled through the room. Leia stepped forward, her voice shaking. This doesn't look good." Eli froze, his face pale. "I was just helping," he whispered. His words were drowned by murmurs of doubt. Customers stared. Some frowned. Jasper folded his arms, smug. Nora smirked, confident. Cena's fists clenched under the table. The trap had been sprung. Eli stood accused, his kindness twisted into guilt. But what Jasper and Nora didn't realize was that every second, every lie, was already on tape. And Cena was seconds away from ending it all. The cafe fell silent as tension hung in the air. Eli stood by his sink, shoulders slumped, his dignity unraveling under the weight of false accusations. Jasper crossed his arms smugly, and Nora's smirk widened. Leia's voice trembled. "Maybe it's best if you step away." That was the moment John Cena rose from his seat. His chair scraped across the floor, slicing through the heavy silence. He pulled off his cap, and the whispers spread like wildfire. Gasps filled the room. The man standing before them wasn't a stranger. It was John Cena, the true owner of Harmony Café. "Enough," Cena's voice thundered. "There's a truth everyone here needs to see." He lifted his phone, connecting it to the cafe's TV. Within seconds, the screen flickered to life. The footage rolled, Jasper slipping bills from the tip jar, Nora shortchanging customers, their whispered plan to frame Eli. Gasps turned into angry shouts from the crowd. "Frame Eli, get him fired." Jasper's voice from the recording filled the cafe. The customers turned, their faces full of outrage. Nora's eyes went wide. Jasper's smugness drained. He stammered, "This is a setup," and bolted toward the door, only to be blocked by two regulars. Police officers entered moments later, handcuffs ready. Cena turned back to Eli, his voice softening. "I failed you by letting this go unseen. But no more." Tears welled in Eli's eyes as the customers erupted into applause. Tom, the fisherman, raised his mug. "To Eli." The crowd followed, chanting his name. Cena placed a folder in Eli's trembling hands. "From today, you're not a dishwasher anymore. You're the new floor manager, with better pay and the respect you deserve." Eli's lips quivered, his eyes misty. "I don't know what to say." "There's more," Cena added, sliding another document forward. "A home, yours 3 blocks from here. No rent, no mortgage. You've carried this cafe on your back. Now it's time we carry you." Eli's sob broke free, raw and heartfelt. The crowd cheered louder, many wiping their own tears. Cena raised his hand to silence the room. Harmony Café will change starting today. Living wages, real benefits, and a fund to help anyone who falls on hard times. No one will face struggles here alone again. Applause thundered through the cafe. Eli's name echoed like a beacon, stronger than ever. For the first time in years, Eli stood tall, not as the old dishwasher, but as a man honored for the kindness that had saved them all. And John Cena knew this was Harmony's true legacy. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because tomorrow we'll bring you an even more powerful story just for you.